So obviously, in this underrated fighter series, I'm going to be talking about fighters that have maybe retired or maybe active. There's one fighter that I feel like doesn't get enough recognition for what he's actually done in his career, and one of them fighters is actually Luis Collazo. Now, Luis Collazo is a fighter that for a long period of time was always seen as a high risk, low reward type fighter. This was not a fighter that was pushed by the establishment. In fact, you can argue a lot of times he's been robbed by the establishment. I feel like the establishment's gone out of their way to actually screw him over on several occasions. And there's many at times decisions could have gone his way that didn't go his way. Now, just to look at his resume, just looking at his resume, this is the guy that's for Shane Mosley, Keith Thurman, Andre Berto, Ricky Hatton, Amir Khan, Victor Ortiz. He won a WBA version of the title. There's probably 3-4 more fighters that I've completely forgotten off the list that he's actually fought. And on many occasions, he's given these top fighters a run for their money. So the Andre Berto fight, I actually thought that Luis Collazo won that particular fight. Luis Collazo, I'm not going to say, I think he rocked him in the first round or the second round or third round. One of the early rounds he rocked him and he had him reeling at the ropes. But ironically, he didn't get the decision. Another fight where which is very close and contentious was a fight between Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley at the time was 35 years old, and basically I think Luis Collazo put it on him. At that time, Shane Mosley was still a viable opponent. I think he wasn't too far away from his breakthrough win against Antonio Margarito. And on top of that, I think he wasn't too far away from fighting Miguel Cotto at that point. So it was quite close to his career at that point. And he gave a very good performance against Shane Mosley. He didn't embarrass himself. Another opponent that he ironically, although he fought all of these good opponents, even though he won the WBA title, nobody actually remembers him for the title. They just remember for his incredible resume and the fact that he's been robbed several times. Another fight which was very close was his fight against Ricky Hatton. Now, Ricky Hatton at the time had unified, I think, the light welterweight division. He came up, he beat Costa Tszyu, and he decided to go up to welterweight for a super fight against Mayweather, which obviously did happen. But before that fight happened, he wanted to catch I think he wanted to win a belt at welterweight, just so that he brought more to the table when he was about to fight Mayweather. So he had more negotiation power. But that fight against Luis Collazo was very difficult. I think he knocked him down in the first round, but he always managed to after that Luis Collazo managed to rally back, and he gave him probably one of the hardest fights of his career. Like he literally put it on him in a way that we've never seen before. I mean, Ricky Hatton's a tough guy when he took the shellacking that he took against Luis Collazo, but a lot of people thought that he won that fight. I've noticed with Luis Collazo, he always finds a way to find a vulnerability in a certain opponent. So if you look at his fight against Andre Berto, he showed Andre Berto's inability to deal with inside fighting. Inside fighting was Andre Berto's weakness, and Luis Collazo to some extent exposed that. Another thing that he exposed was when he fought Keith Thurman, he hit him to the body and managed to, I think he almost hurt him and knocked him out with a body shot. And now everyone knows about the vulnerability that Keith Thurman has to the body. So yeah. Also, he does have wins over the likes of Victor Ortiz and other great fighters. So he's a top fighter. He's a top fighter. Obviously, he's he became a world champion. There's many decisions that could have went his way. The Ricky Hatton fight, that fight could have went his way. The fight against Andre Berto, that fight could have went his way. Have you noticed though, like with these opponents, most of them were on their come up. So there were fighters that the establishment wanted to push. Ricky Hatton, the establishment wanted to push him because there was a potential super fight with Mayweather on the cards. Andre Berto at the time had a lot of hype around him. Again, that was a fight that the establishment wanted to actually push, and that was the reason why you can argue that Luis Collazo didn't get a fair shake on the deal in terms of the decision going his way. So I just feel like he's a fighter that's underrated. He's fought the top fighters of his era, and obviously there's fighters that he's not fought. Like it would have been great to see him against the likes of an Errol Spence, but he's a world champion. He was a legit world champion. On top of that, he's a legit world class fighter. I wouldn't say he was elite, but I would say he's definitely world class, and he was definitely up there as one of the toughest journeymen in the sport, and he's a fighter that doesn't get as much credit as he deserves. So obviously he said after his last fight, I think he got for some reason it was I think he got like a no decision against his last opponent. He said he's going to retire, so I thought I'd make this video just to as a tribute to him, because he was a he was almost like a throwback fighter. He's a fighter that if he wasn't on your game, there's a very good chance that you would lose to him. I mean, look at the hell that he gave to Andre Berto. Look at the hell that he gave to Shane Mosley. Look at the hell that he gave to Ricky Hatton. He obviously beat Victor Ortiz as well. So yeah, he's a top fighter. He's a top fighter, and hopefully now he could ride off to the sunset. Hopefully he's made some investments outside of the sport, and he could just retire and put his feet up. But yeah, in terms of ranking his career, I wouldn't say he was elite, but I would say he was a solid world class fighter that gave, and he was game as hell. His game, he was tough, he had great stamina, and he was quite awkward, and he was southpaw as well. So like I think he is definitely like one of the top world class journeyman type, gatekeeper type fighters out there that could easily pull off an upset when he has to. So yeah, that's my opinion on him. Tell me your opinion of him. What was your favourite fight of his? Was the fight against Andre Berto? Was a barn burner? His fight against Ricky Hatton, Shane Mosley, obviously Keith Thurman, Amir Khan. Amir Khan gave one of his best performances against Luis Collazo, and he made Luis Collazo look pretty bad in there. But that was the one fight where you can actually say that Luis Collazo looked like he was completely outclassed. His fight against Amir Khan really put it on him, but even Amir Khan had to deal with a storm from Luis Collazo. So yeah, that's my opinion. Tell me your opinion. Who would you put your money on in terms of who would you have liked to have seen Luis Collazo fight? That's my question. What do you think of his career? Like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace out.